And then he said these words that changed my life. He said, why don't you do for once, not what you want to do, but what God wants you to do? The most profound spiritual moment of my life was when I was attending Kingsway College in Oshawa, Ontario, Canada. I was a student there, and I was really not happy with all of the rules and regulations at this Christian school that I was attending, this Adventist school. And, lights had to be out at a certain hour, and you couldn't hold hands with girls on campus. And so these rules were too much for me. And I went to the dean of men, and I said, I'm leaving the school. I can't take all these rules and regulations. And he said to me, is that what you really want to do? I said, yeah, that's what I want to do. And then he said these words that changed my life. He said, why don't you do for once, not what you want to do, but what God wants you to do? And I went up to my room under conviction, and it was the first time I had ever remembered sincerely praying in my life. I was 16, and I got down on my knees, and I said, God, whatever you want me to do, I'll do. I said, if you want me to be a garbage man for you, I'm ready. I'm willing to be a garbage man. I said, I would like to travel and use my talents for you. And if that's your will for me, open the doors. Please let me see in some way. A day went by, and the next day, two men walked up to me and said, are you Wintley Phipps? I said, yeah. He said, we're from a group called the Heritage Singers. We've been hearing about you, and we want you to travel and do singing evangelism with us. And to pray and then see a prayer answered for the first time is a life-changing moment. That's when I realized that God was real. That's when I realized that God hears and answers heartfelt prayers. The most profound spiritual moment in your life would probably be the first time you heard from God and knew that God was real and that God hears and that He answers prayer.